nobody ever really talks about this. Like nobody. But I kind of touched upon it, didn't I, in my one video. The thing that I don't really talk about much, like I said, in that video, the only reason I addressed it was because of some YouTuber I came across kind of struggling with her faith or whatever. But so it got me to thinking about my own life. Anyway, so I just wanted to talk about this, and this is more in pertaining to Black Lives Matter and things of that nature. I get annoyed by this because it's like black men and women use Black Lives Matter, police brutality often, to basically ignore the main people, who kill black men and black women and children. It's like, I never understand that. Why would you pay attention to like two or three random police officers who may have, you know, caused the end to some black man who's a criminal? But you never really thought of yourself or your own safety. Now, you always are like, oh, you should just, be soft on him or let him, in some cases, get away or run away. I remember that was the case with this one situation. The one, remember where he was like passed out in the parking lot? Anyway, I mean, people always act like, in the case of like Dante Wright, the only danger he was to a police officer. In reality, how often do black men kill other black men, other black women, other black children? That's what I don't understand. Like, I mean, like, for the people who want to claim that, they should get off easier or there shouldn't be, they should be allowed to get away in order to not, risk their own life. What about your life? Do you really think they value your life? I mean, the stats show that they don't. More often, do black men kill white people or black people? Generally, actually, it's black people. And it's just like, to me, like, I feel like a lot of the time they don't want to, like, face that self hate, really, within the community. Because that's what it all is about. I mean, people love to have, like, the idea of white versus black and things of that nature, but it's not mainly white people killing us, it's mainly black people. And that goes to the devaluement of, black lives. And, people always think Black Lives Matter. Well, why can't we talk to these black criminals that you're trying to keep alive and try and get off easy by the law and tell them that Black Lives Matter? Because they clearly don't act like Black Lives Matter when the main people they're killing are black people. I mean, why would we want to keep people around who don't value black lives? Oh, there's a comment. Oh, hi, Travels of a Black Rose. It's 3 a.m. here. I'll probably have to catch the replay in the morning. Laugh out loud. Oh, well, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, I said I would do another live. I really want to do two more lives, so yeah, just catch me, I guess, on the replay. But like on Black YouTube, it's like, you generally see, it's like you don't see the divested, obviously, side or the black women's side really addressing this. That black men, are their biggest killers. Because, it's more so focused on black women and children and things of that nature. But even on the black man side of it, it's like they constantly make excuses. And it's like, you keep making excuses. Who do you think is going to hurt the most? I mean, these very men would kill them and kill them on the daily. Yet you're trying to make excuses for your potential killer. Like, what is wrong with you that you don't realize that these people are a danger to your own life? Just because they have the same gender as you and the same race as you, that actually makes it more problematic because apparently these people hate themselves and devalue their own lives. That when they see you, they see themselves. And then, of course, if they hate themselves, then of course they hate you, you know? And I mean, like, people always talk about, you know, black men having a self hate issue, but they don't talk about really the fact that the self hate issue is not just like in like who they prefer sexually or whatever silliness like that. It's more than that, it's about the fact that like you can't even value when you think of whose life matters more. To you, white lives matter more. Because if it didn't, you wouldn't be, killing black people at astronomical numbers compared to any other race. And that's what I mean with black men. It's like constantly that they are their own worst enemy. And, they have no accountability towards the people that are their own enemy, which is like kind of like watching a, it's kind of like honestly watching a snake eat his own tail kind of like situation where like, you know, because you have no accountability and you have no, sense of realizing that this is the thing that's actually literally going to hurt you, and it in turn basically destroys you because you didn't pay attention to the fact that this was literally the, your biggest enemy and the one who hated you the most, more than any white person hated you, you know? And actions speak louder than words. They really do. And like I said, the stats just show what they show. And more than that, it's like if you can't have accountability to admit you're in the wrong when you have warrants for arrest for robbery and resisting arrest, like in those cases with Dante Wright and like George Floyd, it's like obviously you're not going to present that, there's a better way to go about things, go about life, following the law. And I mean, this kind of goes into the whole thing of self hate and devaluing, because the image that black men are allowed, like they have allowed society to paint them in, it says it all. Like when you try and claim someone like black male criminals as their image, like for example, like with police brutality and things of that nature, where they are acting like, they have a problem with the law, or like, like siding with people like George Floyd or Dante Wright, when these people are, career criminals, as if this is a part of being a black man, you know? it's like you'll never come from a place of betterment or seeing yourself in a better light when you let society basically view you this way because you see yourself that way. If you see yourself as a criminal, I mean, one, I mean, you shouldn't be out in society with us. And, if you have that mindset, you're never going to make it anywhere far. Then you blame everybody else when it was all along just you and your personal thoughts of yourself and your identity as a black man was a false identity. It was an incorrect view of your black identity as a man. It's too often that with Black Lives Matter that they make the image that, black people can't obey the law. Black men can't obey the law. That they let the image, that they're pro drugs, And it's like, if you're associating all these negative things with being black, why would you ever think anybody is going to ever see you in a better socioeconomic social status? Because it's like they can't really see you in a better social status because this is how you see yourself. This is how you present yourself. And it's like they let this image basically be the standard for them. And then most of all, it's like the worst of it because it's like other races can think poorly about being black. I've said this plenty of times. It's totally fine to me as long as black people understand what it is to be black because like no one can define being black but a black person. But once you uh, internalize it and basically, make it out to be something so negative, and in your mind, being a black man is something so negative as, presenting as how Black Lives Matter tend to present black men as if they can't, follow the law, like they're pro drugs, like they have a criminal record, like aligning with these people who they are basically trying to consider like martyrs, like George Floyd, Dante Wright, who have only committed crimes while they were alive. To me, when you try to associate that with black manhood, then you will never be good or great. When you constantly devalue the identity of being black, when you constantly kill each other and devalue each other and never see yourself as worthy, that's basically the result. When you basically think, you're just basically like a George Floyd or a Dante Wright, where, all you do is commit crimes and, you can't obey the law and, you know, you're held at a different standard than other people because you're a black man. If you see yourself that way, you're going to see other black men that way. And then these people, like I said, you really mean to think that these people would be more likely to spare your life when they have already shown they had a very violent past? You guys always say that you want, these people to be treated a certain way with kid gloves and, given a second chance out of prison and stuff, but you don't think of what's it going to do with you. How likely are they going to end up killing you? I mean, if you think of it honestly, among casualties that have to do with black men being the perpetrators, I remember looking it up, and black men are one of the most likely victims. So I don't understand why black men make these excuses for the very people that are going to probably end up, killing you. And this is the thing about like the divested and swirler side of it. I never understood why colorism, is a major problem or people talk about it, is because it's like I'm not really concerned about when we talk about Black Lives Matter and George Floyd or Dante Wright or whoever else, what color their mother is or what color their wife is or the color of their kids. None of it matters. None of that stuff matters. If it, why would any of that matter? Who cares if black men never found a black woman ever attractive again? What if they just it was like going gay for them? I mean, that wouldn't matter. To me, what's more concerning is the fact that you're killing black people more than any other race of people. You kill your own people at astronomical numbers. To me, colorism in black men is completely, it is internalized. And this is, to me, why their prison sentences are longer. Because they themselves see themselves negatively. Therefore, they literally act it out. Therefore, the whole idea of colorism and dark skin, they associate themselves as being more aggressive. Therefore, they think that they should be put at different standards than the rest of us human beings. Therefore, they need more exceptions. And when society doesn't give them exceptions and actually treats them like black, people and not, someone that's subhuman, because I mean, hey, well, I'm not even going to get into that because I don't want to offend white people, but that obviously will, you know, cause problems because they're holding themselves to such low standards when they're supposed to be a part of civilized society. Other comments, sorry. Colorism is big in Asia. Darker skinned Asians want to bleach their skin and look like lighter skinned Asians. This is not just a problem with your race. Your race. This is a problem with this is a problem throughout the world. All people want to look white, not just black men. I don't know about that, but that's not what my topic is. But all men want to look white. Asian men want to look white as well. Just like Asian women want to look white. Like dark skinned Asians are like down upon? Look down upon. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about the Asian community or colorism with them. Honestly, with black Americans, I tend to think that colorism doesn't exist. Personally, that's just my opinion. Um, but that's not the point of this topic. For me, it's just like I think like that um I think that often it's like people don't pay attention to the issues that really matter. Like people talking about like some things like that pertain to black women. Like with the divested side and the swirler side, it seems like they always focus on black men. Like with other things that they do, like how much of a provider they are or like their how good of a father they are, things like that. Personally, for me, like I said, I'm not interested in black men like that. But the truth is like I kind of feel like people should be, focusing on the image of black men because it's like it affects everyone, not just black men. One, divestors claim black men don't affect us because we're not dating them. It's not quite true though, because like stereotypes when it comes to black people applies to us all. True, will apply to black men the most, and they'll be seen in a very poor and negative light. But because black women are tied in, oh, there's another comment. I'm sorry. They focus on black men because deep down that's who. Oh, there are more comments. Because deep down that's who they want to be with, because naturally you're supposed to want to be with your own race. That happens in Japan as well. No, not personally for me. I've never been attracted to black men. I'm not attracted to Asian men either. And I'm not attracted to black men or Asian men because for me, I just don't like the face. Honestly, the nose is too feminine for me, and then the cheekbones are too high, like girls. The lips are too full, like females, and then the eyes are almond shaped. Everything is female. This is why when they transition, they look like they look like women. They look like real women, and also other things too in it. That's just gross. But anyway, but I do like mixed men. Anyway, how do you think we feel when we see our own Japanese women chasing white men and wanting to go to America with a white man? How do you think that makes us feel? It makes us angry. I don't know, sir. I'm not Asian. But there's nothing we Japanese men can do but sit back and let our women chase white men. You think only black men want to be white with white women? All men want to be with women. The whole world has been whitewashed. We have all been conquered by white men. There's nothing any way I can do to stop the white man. So you can run from your race, your own men of your race all you want. No, dude, you're not white. I am part white. Sorry, sweetie. Just being completely honest, I'm mixed with white. And my father was actually not a black man. But, like, I understand that you might have some frustration with Asian women. But to me, the way I see it is, I don't know, like, well, with Asian women, I don't know, like, they probably find it like they're a minority, probably, in their country. And, like, when you're a minority in your own country, I mean, in this country, so then when that happens, how can they really find Asian men? Like, seriously, how are they supposed to find Asian men? If I were them, I would too. I mean, like, heck, what do you really expect? Honestly. At the end of the day, you're just falling for their ultimate plan. You're lusting and chasing after Caucasian skin color. No, I'm not, sweetie. But I think you're just upset because you're not white and you don't think you can get a white woman. I don't really know what you can do about that. Like, I encourage people to be with white people all they want. I don't really care. I'm personally like, I prefer mixed men like me, but I like the majority is white. So that's what I prefer. Do you not think that Asian women talk crap about Asian men when they are with a white man? I don't know, really. They do it all the time. They can't call us Asian men dogs. That's what Asian women call us when they date out. It's because deep down, Asian women still want to be with Asian men. Black men do the same thing. They talk about black women, but they're dating white women. It's something to do with nature. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I think like black men, I don't think that they really, I think some black men hate black women and they're attracted to black women. But that's not the point of this video, really, honestly. And as far as Asian people, I don't know what they do, really. I'm sorry. Point of the matter is for me, I just want black men to be better. That's what I want. I want black men to be like, I want them to be have an image that's normal. I don't want it to be like, oh, they're seen as running from the police. Oh, they're seen as criminals. Oh, they're seen as, they're attacking other black men and things of that nature. That's what I don't want. And my thing is, it's just like, I feel like our stereotypes, are tied with theirs. Even if we're not sleeping with them, even if we've never had any sexual attraction to them, it's still going to be associated with them. This is why the divestors are constantly talking about single motherhood. This is why they always are talking about their fathers and their problems with their fathers. The assumption that these women, there's assumptions with black women. Like, for example, things like, well, like, dependency on the government or like, outlook on drugs, morals, the law, things like that. Like it's associated with the same thing because what happens is they come from the same families. So if they're seen as coming from the same families, they're going to be seen in the same light. So why would someone not care about the state of black men? Like to me, that's my thing. Like I'm black, so then therefore I'm going to care about black people, black and mixed people. That's how I see it. And I feel like they're implicated with them. And for me, there's like no benefit black people. It's no benefit in black people basically having a negative image. Oh, there's more comments. You talk about the thing that you hate, and people do that because secretly they still want to be that thing. They hate deep down in their soul because it's natural. Yeah, no, not me. As far as I don't talk against mixed men or black men for that matter. I want the better for black men. And that's what I'm saying in this video. I feel like black men often make excuses for the very people that will hurt them. And it's just like, it's okay to be critical. It's okay to have some self improvement. It's okay to do better. That's what I'm saying. And that's not as a partner, that's not as a lover. For goodness sakes, I would be a lesbian if I was in Africa, honestly. And I still would want better for black men. To me, just because I'm not sucking black dick doesn't mean that I want them to be destroyed. Like, that's my thing. It's like, why we gotta, when we're talking about colorism and we're talking about, black men and talking about, how they are a bad father or they're not a provider or anything. It's like you're not really even thinking of all the big problems that black men have as their image. Instead, you're talking about how they are as a husband or how they are as, you know, father, or how they, are as a partner. I've never really cared about that. I understand domestic abuse is bad in the black community, in the black Hispanic community, especially. I don't know if it is for the people who are like of a better class, but to me, it's like those people who are like not realizing, the big problems in the black community, the stats in certain cities when it comes to, certain crimes that have to do with murder and things of those nature. It's just like that should be more focused on. And I mean, that should be focused on for all of the Black American population. And so to me, that's just mainly my problem with it. It's just I feel like people are always thinking about like black, they're always thinking about black men and what they do for them as, their lover. And it's like that's not what I'm thinking about. It's just the same thing as like black children. Black children academically have always been behind a lot of other children of other races. That the fact that they're not doing as well does not mean I'm thinking of them as my children. I'm thinking of them doing better as my people. And that's what I mean. That's another thing with divestment. It's like my problem is I kind of like feel like just because I will never sleep with a black man and I've never thought of sleeping with a black man does not mean that I'm going to not be black. And I mean, even though I am half black, I'm still going to be half black. So for me, that's how I feel, basically. It's just like I just feel like people don't really think of the reality of the situation of black people, you know. So I just think, black men need to stop making excuses. And I understand some black men, maybe they feel like they are under attack. And so then they can't focus on the problems that they have going on. But the way I see it is just like, you know, for the people who want to tear them down or talk poorly about them just to talk poorly about them, the way I see it is, you can ignore those people. Those people, are only doing that because you have some negative factors that have to do with your image. And to me, I mean, like, the best way to get back at someone is self improvement. If you don't have self improvement, then you can't really claim anything. You can't claim, look at me, I'm doing better. No, instead, you're still in the mud. You're still trying to say that basically, water is not wet. And like, basically, being a criminal is going to get you some kind of success, or being a criminal is your image. When you uphold things like the image of like Black Lives Matter and how they try to present black men and black people in general, then you basically are saying that you will never amount to anything. And that's just how I see it. It's like, to me, it's not an attack against black men. It's just you need to actually think of, you know, your reality of your situation and actually think about, what can make you better. So basically, if you don't want to have a bad image as a black man, don't align with criminals like the ones that are associated with like police brutality and things of that nature. Don't try and act like that's how black people are and they're just being mistreated by the police. Don't do that. Other races don't do that. We don't see, Hispanic or white people trying to act like this is how white people or Hispanic people are, but they're just being treated this way by police officers because that's how they are, and this is a part of being black. That's not a part of being black. That's not a part of being Hispanic. That's not a part of being white. And I mean, behaving this way makes it almost seem like, black people are, subhuman, as if, you know, we can't like follow the law. And it's weird because it's like actually in reality, Asian and white people are the least biologically human people, because of their Neanderthal blood. So to me, it's like, why are we doing this backwards? Why are we trying to present ourselves as if we are, lesser when we're not? You know, I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that. And I guess it's a little bit of a rant, but uh, part of what made me think about this was, I guess you could say, my own um, experience with my family and things of that nature. I've talked about that, like how my mother would always say, black men are more violent and things of that nature because of what happened with my father and things like that. But to me, I mean, like I've said in the past, I don't generally, blame black men for that. But I do like, I guess I was taught that black men were more dangerous. But like I said, I gave black men a good chance in friendship and things of that nature long time ago because I just never wanted to judge anyone for their skin tone. I still don't judge people for their skin tone, honestly. To me, I just think people are people. You can't judge anyone for their skin tone. I don't care what you experienced in the past. You can judge people as far as, who makes you wet, basically. But that's a whole different story. So, yeah, that's all I have to say on this. I'm going to be done. Thanks for listening. I'll make another video soon.